Warning: this video you are about to see contains elements of the harsh reality we are living in. 2 pandemics inflicting pain, COVID-19, and oppression in all forms. Viewer discretion is advised.
Tonight, the highest daily death toll. COVID pandemic reaches dangerous.
California both reporting a new single-day record.
The disease now infected more than 4.1 million people.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
It's everywhere.
Ravaging the country and the world, leaving an endless trail of bodies.
Making America fear again.
A socially transmitted disease, and we can see the symptoms every day.
So what is your reality during these times?
A global pandemic causing global trauma.
Are these trending topics staying on your screen, or are they making their way into your mind?
Take the time to recognize the ways in which we have been affected.
Take responsibility to use your privilege to benefit others.
And take action in the movement towards reconstruction.
Recognition.
Responsibility.
Reconstruction.
We'll never cure this virus if we don't take initiative.
We need to recognize the way this virus has affected
the world,
our country,
your community,
your family,
you.
So pay attention.
Phase 1. Recognition. Recognition. The first step is where we identify the harms created by oppression in all its forms, by empathizing with the groups affected.
We all miss our friends. This whole 6-foot rule thing is annoying, but it's not like social distancing is anything new.
I'm socially distanced when I'm told to go back to my country. But see, the thing is, I never left.
People won't get near me because I pray in a different language and manner.
And some clench their purse, ready to call the cops because they see me as a threat.
It's been our reality for as long as we can remember.
First Coachella, then EDC. Summer 2020 was supposed to be a vibe, but Corona ruined it for all of us.
Listen, I love festivals and all, but our graduation was canceled. We're gonna be the first of our families to walk across that stage.
It was our time to prove that we were the top of our class, not because of, but despite a system that considers us lower class.
Corona canceled more than just fun for some of us.
This quarantine 15 is no joke. I've never felt so heavy. How do I lose this weight?
The weight of the world on my shoulders.
On my arms, stomach, thighs.
Famine, poverty, war.
Finding any reason to eat.
When people can't find enough to eat.
I can't tell if the mirror is telling me the truth or daring me to stop eating.
While the crisis in Yemen is only getting worse.
My heart is heavy internalizing all that's happening in the world.
We're all sick and tired of staying at home with nothing to do. Trust me, I miss going out with all my friends just like everyone else does.
Stuck at home with this anxiety, finding it hard to breathe, the pressure in my chest has me questioning if it's COVID or just my mind.
Stuck at home with an abusive partner and no escape in sight.
Stuck in this bed overthinking. Breonna Taylor was in her own home when she was murdered. My mind is racing, my heart is pacing. Am I sinking?
But you just don't want to stay at home, right?
With all this uncertainty, I don't even know if it's worth being essential. So what does it even mean to be essential?
Is it essential for me to act like a man, to be a boss and not a bitch?
Is it essential to talk white at work to make you feel comfortable?
Is it essential for my skin to be light, to be treated with respect?
And let's not forget, before there was Corona, immigrants have always been the most essential workers.
Why put our lives on the line if at the end of the day, we're just a dollar sign to them?
That is what it means to be essential.
Wearing a mask makes me really uncomfortable. Is it really necessary?
This mask will never hide
the inner struggles I fight to keep the demons away.
The reality of the world isn't accessible for those with differing abilities.
Fear of not knowing if ICE will take my parents away.
The fact that anyone can be sexually assaulted, anyone,
You might be able to take off the mask because it's uncomfortable, but for some, it's not an option.
Isn't this the land of the free? I thought we were free to go outside whenever we wanted.
Well, coming out is not always that easy when you hate me for who I love.
I can't come outside without being spat on and harassed for a virus that I didn't create.
Why is it taking so long for the children at the border to come out?
Come out of the idea that the world is binary. Respect people's pronouns. Ask them, learn them, period.
Land of the free? Shit, maybe not for everyone.
Why should I be worried? Doesn't the virus only affect older people? Hopefully we'll be okay.
He was 12.
He was 8.
I was 6.
I was 17.
Pain doesn't care about age. Everyone can be affected. So is anybody really safe?
This isn't just about a respiratory disease. I can't catch my breath with all that's going on.
I can't breathe with the constant anxiety of you thinking that I'm a walking virus.
I can't breathe under the pressures my family puts on me to make their sacrifices mean something.
I can't breathe knowing I might be next.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't.
And that is the state of the world today.
Now that we have recognized the flaws, how can we take accountability?
Phase 2. Responsibility. Responsibility. The second step in which we acknowledge and reflect on the ways that we have harmed traditionally undeserved groups.
It's time to reconsider America's actions and reflect.
Now that you can't unsee the truth,
what are you trying to protect?
Take responsibility for the ways you've been complicit.
Maybe you don't show symptoms and it doesn't affect you.
But your reality isn't the only one that matters.
Privilege isn't about what you've gone through, it's about what you haven't had to go through.
So, what is the cure? Not catching it, not spreading it, survival?
It's time to protect those that are most at risk.
We need to use our platform to amplify the voices of those unheard.
I embrace la raza mía, although at times it doesn't embrace me. When I am too white or too Mexican.
we need to use male privilege to invest in female power.
We need to protect all Black lives, all trans lives. I mean, the first Pride was led by a Black trans drag queen after all.
The way we continue to interact is only making the virus worse.
So you'll attack me in my place of worship, but somehow I'm the terrorist.
How about instead of teaching women how to be safe, we teach men about consent?
Let me wear my natural hair without people telling me it looks better straight.
I am not your GBF or your comic relief.
I am not your token Black friend or your pass to say the N-word.
I am not your bro, and toxic masculinity is not a personality trait.
And no, I'm not your quirky little math-loving, bad-driving, made-in-China diversity pick. Nor is this fox eye a trend.
We need to question why things are the way they are.
I continue to witness old men make decisions on what I can and cannot do with my own body.
We have pride in rooting for Native Americans as team mascots. But where is the shame in knowing that Indigenous people were once killed for sport?
I see the injustice in the military for what it is, protecting a country that doesn't protect their own.
It is no longer enough to be non-racist. We must actively be anti-racist. Angela Davis.
Anti-racism is not a set of beliefs, it's a set of actions.
It's opposing racism in all aspects of our lives.
It's uncomfortable.
It's active.
It's constant.
And it's how to make a change.
Majority comfort is not more important than the safety of minority lives.
What if we address the anti-Blackness in our own communities and speak up for what is right, no matter how frustrating it may get?
It's time to call out the non-Black people who say the N-word with their chest, but won't say Black Lives Matter with their heart.
Once we have acquired the tools of recognition and responsibility, how can we construct a better reality?
Phase 3. Reconstruction. Reconstruction. It is here in the third and final step that we act on what we have learned to reshape the world, leaving it better than it was yesterday.
What is it we can change about the world?
Activism takes many forms, but choose something.
Remember, your actions will speak louder than any hashtag ever will.
Take action in the movement towards reconstruction.
Learn to unlearn the ways we've been complicit in oppression.
We cannot let this virus continue to run its course.
So what does justice really look like?
Abolishing systems that decide 3 months is enough for causing a lifetime of trauma.
Defunding systems that make Karen feel safe, but threaten my very own existence.
Reforming systems that lets white gunmen walk free, but murders unarmed black men.
The government is so quick to reopen gyms and hair salons and for things to go back to normal, but my normal is having to live in fear.
People dying every day is not the normal anyone should want to go back to.
While we're opening everything up, let's reopen these cases and say their names.
George Floyd!
Breonna Taylor!
Elijah McClain!
Jane Thompson!
Zainab Merchant!
Kendrick Johnson!
Andres Gordado!
Vanessa Guillen!
Dominique Fells!
Tony McDade!
Alton Sterling!
Quentin Thomas!
Oluwatoyin Salawi! Stop!
Enough is enough!
Enough is enough! Enough is enough!
Prejudice is a public health crisis.
Use that stethoscope to find your own heart and believe in the cries of Black women when we know something is wrong.
Healthcare is a basic human right.
Let's say that again. Healthcare is a basic human right.
Stop investing in riot gear and fund the right gear that healthcare workers need right now.
No amount of anesthesia will numb us to the reality of a system that does not treat everyone the same.
911? Who do you call when the professional is the one inflicting the pain?
We're so concerned with getting our family's approval that we forget to make our own choices and decide what is true and what is taught.
Why do our parents tell us that it's not our fight to fight when we're the ones that can actually make a difference?
It's no longer enough to tolerate ignorant jokes and harmful stereotypes that our families make when nobody's listening.
We've always been taught to listen, but now it's our time to speak.
Tradition is the enemy of progress. We need to lead these conversations with empathy and perspective in order to encourage growth in the ones we love.
And let's not forget, talking about these heavy topics can take a huge toll on you and your relationships, especially in an environment that tells you mental health doesn't exist.
Oh, and let's fix the climate change crisis so our kids have one less burden to carry.
We will break the cycle.
It's time to write a New Testament.
A testament to those who want to restore faith in humanity.
A prayer for us to join together regardless of our individuality.
Crucify the systems which have divided us on the grounds of religion.
Questioning beliefs of hatred and discrimination that turn into policies and legislation.
Redraw the line between church and state.
Waiting on the resurrection of laws that need to be changed.
This too shall pass, but it's time we make an atonement for our sins.
Be critical of a one-sided, whitewashed education system that failed to teach us about the events that really matter.
Or are we supposed to believe the lies we were told about Thanksgiving?
How can you say that all men were created equal when your founding father's own mind?
Why don't we learn about the Stonewall riots, the crisis in Yemen, Juneteenth, or the Armenian genocide?
History was written by those in power, so of course they wrote it the way they wanted it to be heard.
Weaponizing a virus is nothing new for this savage and sinful country.
Listen to the ways your silence is hurting me.
Listen to the ways your silence is hurting me.
Listen to the ways your silence is hurting me.
You can mute this video, but you will never silence a conversation that is long overdue.
If you're tired of all these screens, don't worry. The revolution won't be televised.
I'll keep my knee on your soil as long as those men in blue keep their knees on their necks.
The real virus is hate.
So, really, what is the cure?
Without struggle, there is no progress. And where I come from, struggle is a regular thing to my people. You put your fist to your heart for the brown pride, proud of where you're from, those roots we never hide. Providing hope to the raza till the day you die. And if I die tomorrow, man, I know at least I tried. Doughboy Tony.
If we want the change, we gotta change a lot of things, starting with our mindsets. The seed must grow, regardless of the fact that it's planted in stone. Tupac Shakur.
What kind of security do social securities hold that undocumented folk can't earn? Until I'm free to write bilingually and to switch codes without having to translate, I will overcome the tradition of silence. Gloria and salud.
Even when it feels like the world around you is falling apart and we can't push on anymore, we must remember that nothing can hold us down when we have God behind us. We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not driven to despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Struck down, but not destroyed. 2 Corinthians 4:8.
The consistent and exhausted screams for our people to go back to where we came from. What about the unheard screams of our people, our children in cages? Those are the screams that motivate me. We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about the progress and prosperity of our community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others, for their sake and for our own. Cesar Chavez.
Assimilation is the American narrative, but I would rather die with pride than live a lie. No pride for some of us without liberation for all of us. Marsha P. Johnson.
What is the cure? Don't be afraid to spread love and acknowledge your privilege. Work on your individuality. Love thyself. Love thy neighbor. Love your neighbor as yourself. Matthew 22, verse 39.
It's an honor to be Asian American. So until those like you and I are truly represented, we will fight until that day arrives. We realize the importance of our voices only when we are silenced. Malala.
Before you try to spark change everywhere else, don't forget to take care of yourself. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship that you have. Robert Holden.
It's time to realize we wouldn't have Black Lives Matter if we didn't have 300 years of Black lives not mattering. We wouldn't have pride if we didn't have decades of homophobia. We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice. Not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity. MLK. So step up, acknowledge your privilege, and be that leader.
Speak up and speak out for yourself and everyone. If you put shame in a petri dish, it needs 3 ingredients to grow exponentially: secrecy, silence, and judgment. If you put the same amount of shame in the petri dish and douse it with empathy, it can't survive. Brené Brown.
This pandemic has pain far more from what we can understand. Many stressing and worrying about this new world at hand. Struggling and adversity many have never gone through. But now this puts you in the shoes of those who have been fighting a pandemic before you. Unfortunately, this fight is nothing new. Now we all can get a taste of the hardships that we all go through.
It's not the end of the world.
It's just the start of a new and better one.
Take a moment to look around.
Take a minute to think about what you just saw.
And take a moment to just listen.
And we are
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.